Good evening to you and to everyone. The goals that Israel wants are long-term goals. Long-term goals. It's a strategy based on displacing the largest amount of Palestinian people to try again and build settlements in Gaza Strip. These are the goals stated by Netanyahu, which is the release of hostage and destruction of Hamas military infrastructure, because what we see in the reality is not destruction of Hamas, but a destruction of the infrastructure of the Palestinian people in Gaza Strip as in south of Lebanon.
And what is the current humanitarian situation for civilians and the citizens of Gaza?
Of course, Israel is deliberately committing the policies or implementing the policies of starvation that they have started for a year now. They refuse any humanitarian truce and they refuse any release of hostages deal. They believe that the military pressure is the best thing that makes the Palestinian resistance make concessions. So the best thing is to create a gap between the resistance and the people and make the life of the Palestinian people difficult to hate the resistance. This is done by besieging Gaza Strip and the starvation of the Palestinians in Gaza and prohibiting access to food and medication in Gaza. This is not a military issue. The goal here is to besieging the Palestinian people to achieve the Israeli goals of practicing pressure against the resistance, and to achieve these long-term goals are making the life of people in Gaza difficult.
And what are the challenges faced by humanitarian organizations who are operating in the region?
The challenges are that Israel do not allow the free movement, not for the international organizations, and we even saw the attack against Guterres by Israel. They considered him an unwelcome figure in Israel. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs in the United Nations said that all the ministers in Israel are attacking the United Nations and its institutions. Yesterday, we have seen how Israel took the premises of UNRWA in Jerusalem. We saw how they attacked the UNIFIL troops in Lebanon. So their operations are not abided by any international law. That's why the organizations are suffering and having a hard time in delivering all the aids deserved by the Palestinian people. They also face another challenge, which is the rejection of Israel to allow the United Nations to move. And all these statements of UN employees are revolving around the real danger against the Palestinian people and on the necessity of the entry of supplies, even by the United Nations, which is the best way to guarantee that these aids go to the Palestinian people only. However, Israel still refuses the entry of any aid from any entity in top of them, the United Nations.
And Professor Bashtawi, with Israel's ongoing violations of international law, of course we have the atrocities in Gaza, now Lebanon as well. Is there a way perhaps that international law could be strengthened to protect civilians in conflict zones like Gaza?
Of course, this is the responsibility of the major states and the permanent members of the Security Council. They have to activate the resolutions of UN Security Council against Israel, because Israel is not above the law, is not an outlaw. It's a UN member state that has to apply all the resolutions. Another thing that there should be real stances in this regard. A whole year in which the permanent members in the Security Council failed to issue a resolution that obliges Israel to cease fire. So these countries have to take their responsibilities seriously. They have also to make a decision and implement this decision as well. The whole world says that the war should stop, the fire should stop, but one state, supported by the United States of America, they refuse what the whole world says. They continue the genocide against the Palestinian people. So it's time, after a whole year of a massacre, the major states, the European Union, Russia, China, all of them should take real stances by enacting laws that protect the Palestinian people. This is the bare minimum the United Nations has to support the people by delivery of aids to the civilians.